Hey guys, Kimberly Lebbing here. I help women restore belief in themselves, their relationships, and their health so they can believe more, dream more, and do more. Thank you for listening. Today I'm going to talk about how to stay motivated when things get stressful. We all have that happen. Like you're working, like whatever it is for you. So maybe you're working on a goal, maybe it's a health goal, maybe it's a business goal, financial goal, something like that. And you're running, and then all of a sudden something happens and things get really, really stressful. And maybe the whole plan got derailed because of the stress. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips so that you can prevent. Prevention is the key in everything. Prevention is the key in your health. It's the key in your mindset, your relationships, all the things. So we're going to talk a little bit about prevention with stress. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the type of motivation that you have. So there's two different types of motivation. A lot of people don't even think about this. And sometimes it's hidden. And that is toward motivation or away from motivation. Yes, Dina, distractions, definitely. Sometimes they're life distractions you don't even plan on. I had some of that this past weekend with a family member that had a wreck, and then a washer that happened to break, and we had water all over and had to buy a new one. So some of those things can really mess you up. But the type of motivation you have is really, really key. So if you have toward motivation versus away from. So away from, an example of that would be you don't want to, so you have this goal of maybe a financial goal, and you have it because you want to pay off debt. So it's kind of like a negative. And a toward movement goal would be you have a financial goal so that you can take your family to Disney World. That's like a toward moving. That's something that's like moving you forward instead of away from something that you don't want. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's key. Now, away from motivation does work. A lot of times you have to have those negative things that happen. Like, I don't know, maybe you're in trouble at your job or something, and you got in trouble, and if you don't make this goal, you're gonna lose your job, we'll just say. That's an away from motivation. That might get your butt in gear, but it's not gonna keep you motivated long term. What keeps you motivated long term is something positive that you can look forward to. So like the Disney trip, or maybe it's, I don't know what it is, so for you, but whatever that is, that's what helps you move forward. Number two, and you've probably heard this one, but I'm going to repeat it, and that's SMART goals. So one, if you're not setting goals, you should. It's just like, I get it, like I didn't set them for a long time because I got in this horrible mindset pattern. I grew up with some negative thinking, and so I really struggled with that, and I struggled with setting goals. I made myself get past it. I actually did some mindset hacks with myself to help me get through that, but SMART goals are key. So if you haven't heard of that, SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable. I've heard both for the A part. They mean the same to me. Realistic and time bound. So those are the pieces that have to be in place. So if you're setting goals, it's got to be specific. So if you have a weight loss goal, if you just say, I want to lose weight, and you get on the scale the next day, you lost a pound, you're like, whoop, I met my goal. So that's not really moving you forward. So you have to set specific and by when. Otherwise, like if you don't put a time frame on it, it could go on and on and on. I want to lose 5 pounds and it could be like 10 years from now and before you hit your goal. So your brain needs specifics It needs specific things to focus on, otherwise it doesn't know where it's going. So that's something, just in anything that you're doing, you have to have some specifics. And the third thing is to ask yourself really good questions. So when things don't go right, or a goal wasn't met, that you didn't get where you wanted to go, asking yourself good questions and the right questions is really key. So I talk about this to people a lot, staying away from the why questions. Why didn't I meet my goal? Why didn't I? It makes you feel horrible about yourself, and it really doesn't serve anybody, you or any of the people that you serve. If you ask yourself instead, what did I learn from this? What could I have done differently? What's a different way I could do it in the future? Those are the kind of questions that help your brain seek out what it could do instead of the why and the blame and beating yourself up that those why questions ask. So asking yourself the right questions is huge, 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 huge. So I'm going to recap. So I just had 3 things to keep yourself motivated. Toward motivation versus away from. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And ask yourself good questions. So if you got good value from this, would appreciate a share, hit me a comment, send me some love, whatever you want to do. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.